Welcome, 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 welcome to the pre-show banter that happens before Comic Industry Insiders Live. This week, Brian, massive show. Massive.
I know. You just keep adding people.
I,
Every time I look at the Discord, it's like, hey, here's seven more people. Seven? Adam, I don't think we can fit seven. Oh, no, I was wrong. It's not seven. It's 17 more people.
it's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's a
it's
lot of
gonna be
people.
a show. Let me tell you, we have two different surprises for guests that are gonna be on the show. We've got announcements galore. We've got news you would not expect. We have special guests that yeah. Anyway, I want to
I
get started with the first surprise.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
also
What do you
have a
think?
surprise that when we're in the show, one of the predictions that was made in our prediction show is coming true tomorrow, and we'll talk about that.
That's
I just
funny
found out about it.
because we have a panel that's about another prediction that we
Look
made
at
during the
us.
prediction show.
Look at
Look at us.
us.
We're making this happen. All right.
Not even predictions.
I'm going to bring in two people. One of them has no idea why this is what's going on here. So the first of these people is somebody you all know and love. He is the editor-in-chief of Comics, the magazine. He's the editor of The Future Is, and he is a common face here in Comic Industry Insiders Live, Mr. Joseph Keating, the Eisner Award winning.
Good to
Joe,
be back.
how
Thank
you
you
doing,
for
buddy?
having me. It's good to be here, full of surprises today. This is a
I
really
know.
exciting
It's
Tuesday
crazy.
morning,
I know. I'm so
afternoon.
excited. Okay. All right. Now, without further ado, let's bring on our first special guest, unannounced special guest. He does not know why he's coming to the stage. Writer extraordinaire, a New York Times best-selling writer, many nominations, many prizes, many awards. Mr. Fred Van Lente.
Hey
How are you,
guys,
friend? How are you?
Hey,
I am cautiously optimistic, but ignorant.
Okay, I want you to look
I'm
under
looking
your
as-
chair. No, I'm kidding. There's nothing under your chair. Don't look under your chair.
I feel like green slime is going to drop from my shoe at any moment. I
this
might say the wrong thing.
this does not feel like all of the meetings that I had in corporate when we would bring somebody into a room and there was usually an HR person present. So that's good. We got that going.
We'd like to talk to you about your behavior, Fred.
We've had complaints, Fred.
Oh dear.
No.
What now?
Okay, so Fred, without further ado, actually let's talk about this. So every week there's there's a final order cutoff that happens inside of our industry where the orders come in and we take a look at them, and then sometimes we all are depressed and we go hide in the closet, and then there are days like today. Joe, will you tell Fred what we learned this morning when we got in our orders for The Future Is from Recca Comics?
I want to be very clear. The Future Is number 10.
That's right.
We're almost a year in.
And Free Comic Book Day. We got both today.
And Free Comic Book Day.
Yes.
That's true. You might have to do the Free Comic Book Day one, but I'll tell you the number 10 one.
Yeah.
And the number 10 one is orders increased 50% issue over issue.
Nice.
We are now outselling number one.
Excellent.
By 10%.
By 10%.
That's
That's
fantastic.
amazing.
I have seen this happen a handful of times in my career, including my time at a fairly large publisher. You can guess when I name the titles. I've seen it happen with Invincible. I've seen it happen with Walking Dead. And I've seen it happen with Chew, by the way, coming back, Comics the Magazine. If you haven't seen that, all new stories. That's not the point, though. Let's focus on The Future Is. But yeah, so now we're number 10. And by the way, folks, we didn't add a bunch of variant covers.
No.
What we did is we set a precedent. We have one main variant by a banger artist, or one main cover by a banger artist, number 2 by an interior artist, and we have a bundle. That's it.
Who are also
Keep it
bangers.
simple. Yeah, and they're all bangers.
Oh, yeah.
Bangers front to
Yeah.
back.
It's
Even the addicts are bangers.
nonstop bangers. And I will say that we did I'm wearing a t-shirt that came from the Black Hills.
Very nice.
They're
Paul Poe.
Deadwood Wild West Hack and Fest.
Yeah.
We did a book that was given away at that event is going to be our Free Comic Book Day book this year for the rest of our industry. That was ordered. I'm just going to say the number because they're really open with all of this. We sold 40,000 copies of that
Terrific.
Free Comic Book Day book. So anyway, Fred, I'm not saying this is the next Walking Dead or Invincible or Chew, but I'm also not saying.
You're not saying it.
I'm
Exactly.
just comparing sales trajectories. That's all I'm doing. I'm not making any hyperbolic claim. I'm not saying we're gonna be doing an AMC party at San Diego in a few years. I'm not saying any of that. The sales trajectory is going up.
Well, that
Look
is
And
look at that cover.
interesting.
Look at that cover.
I wanted to
It's
point that out.
adorable.
Actually, that's Juan Gideon, who was actually doing the interiors of the Free
The
Comic Day
interior.
issue.
Free Comic
And the
Day.
Free Comic Day issue is a done-in-one thing. So if you've never read
There's
this
a big
before, you're like, I have no idea these guys talking about. You pick that up, and yeah, it's got but the Free Comic Day issue has the Paul Pope cover.
Well, I will speak on behalf of Ennio and Mario, my two main collaborators, to say thank you, retailers and readers and everyone in between for supporting us, which is pretty fantastic.
Thank you. Yes,
I'm sure they're thrilled over at Recca as well.
Yeah, they are. They are absolutely thrilled. They wanted to be here, but they have a live show of their own. Jason Blanchard, who is well, he does this thing on LinkedIn where he teaches people how to find jobs. Like it's like job hunting like a hacker.
Yeah.
And so if you need a job, I absolutely recommend going to LinkedIn and watching his live stream because he is it is exactly as informative as you think it's going to be. And he has helped a lot of people do it, get jobs. Yes, please. New trade paperback. Do I have that nearby? I should.
I
Big
do.
stack of stuff here. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, here it is. Right there. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Trade paperback available in shops. Please, if you're a retailer, reorder now because stock is limited at Lunar right now. We're trying to get some more inventory, but if you're gonna be reordering based on your orders for number 10, we want to make sure that you get that in. So awesome. Thank you. Well, Fred, thank you, buddy, for putting this together, for doing such an amazing job, and for allowing us to like build this really cool thing.
Absolutely, it's super awesome to be a part of it. It's been fantastic, and just the response has been terrific, which is so awesome.
Yep. Well, thank you. I'm actually writing a note to Blake. I apologize. I'm not going to be able to do two things at once. I think I can, but I really cannot. All right, awesome. Well, was there anything else? Did we want to? Is there anybody in the back room who wanted to say hello? Actually, let's bring up Sean. Oh, is he not here anymore? Yeah, Sean, I just want to bring you to the stage because we're going to be using Sean later in the show to talk about market share. Sean from Comics Pals. I think you two just met for the first time. Any questions for Fred? I know you have a deep knowledge of all things comics. We have 6 minutes for you to ask and get a question answered.
Yeah, well, Fred, first of all, it's great to meet you. It's an honor. I'm really curious what you think is the future of the comic book industry, because right now I think we're in a very interesting place where things are shifting. It feels like there's excitement and buzz around, this medium we all love. So do you feel that upward trajectory? I mean, we just talked about the success of The Future is number 10. Do you feel that upward trajectory? What do you think the future is for us in this industry?
In all of my projects, yes, I can feel the upward trajectory. It's just this, we're just smashing through the ceiling. Seriously, we were having an amusing chat on the Recca group chat the other day about Jason Blanchard, our fearless leader, had discovered an article about people who the headline framed it as an anti-AI thing. I don't think it's necessarily an anti-AI thing, but people who are just kind of going digital, or going analog rather. And I wonder if that's not partly what's to explain the awesomeness of the comics industry right now, just because I think the value of things you can, hold and feel and have a physical connection to, I think is really strong right now, and is a reaction to, it's all going to be pixels and streaming and, and on your Kindle and whatever, but not necessarily so. So the future of comics is the past. That's my super erudite answer.
Well, we've always been here, right? While the rest of the world was trying to, lean as hard as it could into a digital future, comic book readers have sort of said, "Hey, we're we're doing fine with our floppies and our,
Right.
our physical comics that are arguably way too expensive. We're loving it. And
This one, $9.99, baby.
that's beautiful.
$9.99.
That's beautiful.
Look how thick it is.
And the single
288
issues are
pages.
$4.04
That's right. That's
Because-
right.
because there's a joke there. 404.
Come on, most places have sales tax. It's not actually 404.
Yeah, I would say that it's really funny that we're putting together a book that describes the future as having an AR overlay, augmented reality overlay of everything you see, and yet we're living in a time when, I've got all of my oldest, who's 23, all of her friends are buying vinyl and
Right.
cassette tapes of all
Sure.
things, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it is almost like it's a good time to start a physical magazine. That's right, Gabe. It's also a better time to advertise in a physical magazine, which you should be doing by talking to Gabe Yoakum and getting into Comics the Magazine. There you go. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for jumping on. Let's see if we've got, who else do we have? Oh, you know what? We're going to be talking to somebody here in a few minutes. I'm just going to bring him out out of context. Adriano,
How's it
how
going?
do you feel about this future where physical comics are actually something that people want?
It's very comforting in a way. Digital is good and all that. Like, it's nice to not have long boxes everywhere all the time, but it's nice to know that people are still collecting too. It's a good mix to have. So yeah, very, very heartening to hear that people are still happy to pick up physical comics.
The Pesto Comics we're going to be talking quite a bit about Pesto here in a little bit. Is there is this the kind of the future you were betting on when you started Pesto?
It was, I kind of just went in hopeful that things would work out. I didn't know, you've been hearing, oh, comics are dying for years. And I know you guys say very much the opposite, which I appreciate you guys being the positive end of that spectrum. But yeah, I figured, let's try it anyway. I'm just going to ignore what everyone's saying about, comics dying and this and that. I'm just going to go for it. And I'm glad to see that we're riding a wave that seems to be going in the other direction, which
They've
is
been
good.
dying since approximately my father was like 5 years old. So
Well, that's the thing, right? Like,
hey, I'm giving it now,
yeah, it's been the long death, and it's ebb and flow and that. But yeah, it's hard not to hear the negative. But again, like I say, you guys are really good at pushing out the positive message and that. So very happy to hear that from you guys all the time. That it's not going anywhere. If anything, it's getting stronger. So very happy to hear that. Not sure that answers your question though.
No, it really does. I mean, but I will say that we got real lucky. Brian and I did when we started this show, just as we were all on an upswing that could have been a downswing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Diamond could have been the implosion that sucked everybody into this black hole, and instead, like, it became the thing that really kicked us off. So I don't know. I think it's we got real lucky, but also Brian and I are basically Pollyannas anyway. I mean, we're always assuming things are going to work out. Otherwise, why try?
Yeah, right. So then I'd have to get a real job again. I can't do that. That would suck. Oh.
I do not want that. Awesome. All right. Well, we have a show to do, and it is packed, so we should probably get going. Thank you guys for jumping into the pre-show banter section. And Fred, congratulations, buddy.
Congrats, buddy.
Congrats.
You too as well.
Get it.
Guess it means I got to go write more Future Is. See you later.
Give me that.
Awesome. Let's light this candle. Oh, is it Tuesday already? And somebody just decided to sneak in and poke his head in and dance to the music. He's 11. It is Tuesday. We do this thing every Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST where we get on and I scream at a computer and my family thinks that nothing is really happening. But luckily, there's at least one person who is always here for me, and his name is Brian Garside. Brian, how are we going to do this, man? There's so much show today. There's
We
so
are
much show
gonna
today.
we are gonna jam 32 pounds of content into a 5-pound bag, and
We
we're
had to
just
shove
gonna
content into the pre-show banter.
so
It's so
much. Yeah,
full.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is a packed show.
There are plenty I will say at least every show, at least one of us says, do we have enough to fill? And every week.
That didn't happen this week.
Is that-
Nobody at any point said, "Do we have enough to fill?" You just kept adding things. Hey guys, what if we also? Yeah, it was a good week.
Listen,
Hey, quick shout out to Django for stepping in last week. Good news is my puppers is back to normal. She had a seriously scary health thing, but yeah, she's normal and a goof again. So uh, don't let your dogs eat weird things. Is really the moral of the story.
that's
To be fair, we didn't
that's a
let
good
her.
moral.
Just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
There you
man.
go, Tommy. Yeah, she's good.
It was a tough one, but yes, thank you, Django, for stepping in. As
Yeah,
always,
100%.
he's become our, shall we say, our CCI bros. I don't know how that
Yeah,
works. We're not data bros.
we gotta keep those
We're live
chief
bros.
whiskers represented.
That's right. Aw, well, absolutely. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that worked out. I'm so glad that there was a happy ending to that because I know
Yeah.
how much that worried you.
Yeah, this house was a wreck on Monday, but yeah, things turned around pretty quickly. So thank goodness.
Thank you, Django. There you go. Awesome. Well,
Prost.
let's dig in. I'm gonna add this. I pushed a button. I am so sorry.
Look
And
at you.
I know. This week we were planning on a show. We're still gonna do it. A show about a prediction that I made during our year-end show, which is that I think that this is the year that we see comics really, the comic shop themselves really step forward. We're going to see a lot of store openings. Normally, for the last 20 years or so, we've not really seen the store count change plus or minus by single digit. 4% usually is on average. This year, I think we really see a takeoff. And I think, and then my big prediction was this is the year we're going to identify the first national chain. And I think we have two guests that are coming on later in the show that are going to be likely candidates for that. I think either one of them would not surprise me if they were going to be the national chain that we're talking about. So we also are going to be talking about, we have a special guest for headlines, Brian. Two
amazing.
Special guests during
crazy.
headlines.
This is crazy.
This is insane. We are going to be talking to our friends, the comic shops. We're going to be talking about market share report. This is something we started last week. I don't know if you saw the show, Brian, but we started the market share report last week.
I did see that. Yeah, I'm sad that we're not in there yet, but we are going to be.
You're coming.
Yeah, and I'm even going
luckily,
to make the rest of it easier for you to do. So
yeah. Luckily, our friends at Comic Shop Assistant were able to help us fill in this period while you're doing some technical structural stuff and help us bring this market share report into, legitimately, it's 100 stores. It's 98 stores that are part of this cohort. So it's a statistically relevant group.
Absolutely.
When we have you, that we're going to have beyond relevance. And then we're going to have our good friend Christina Blanche is going to be talking about a book coming up on FOC. So from our friends at Source Point Press, it's a big show. It's a big show.
Nutty. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we better get right to it. Let's jump in.
I know. Let's do that. I want to bring to the stage our good new friend Adriano Oreganello. Did I get that right, buddy?
Let me unmute. Yes, you did.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to set the stage here, if you don't mind. Prana Publishers is our umbrella company that we use to bring different publishers to the direct market through distribution deals with Lunar and Universal, and we'll talk about the and here in a moment. We are able to allow people the access to the direct market that they did have during Diamond, but it's kind of gone away now that, kind of bandwidth has shrunk. As we began looking around, and we have people come to us with pitches for us to represent them, we always try and limit ourselves to one new publisher per month. And so, as you can imagine, Brian specifically, as you can imagine, we got a lot of applications that we have to sort through.
Mhm.
This guy, Adriano, really just stuck out of the pack. I mean, he has been doing incredible books that he's self-publishing, writing, bringing in artists, bringing the books together, putting together an incredible package, all just for Kickstarter. He has built an entire company based solely on Kickstarter. So he's never seen the direct market, this stuff. And Adriano, I have to say how impressed we were when you did this. What brought you to making comics in the first place?
Well, first I got to say thank you. That's a very nice way to start. You sold me better than I could sell myself, so I really appreciate that.
That's what we're here for, buddy.
I appreciate it. But yeah, no, comics has always been it's always been the thing I wanted to do. I'm a film school kid. I went to film school. I thought, I'm in Toronto, so there's a lot of like, yeah. I thought that's what I'm gonna do. Comics doesn't seem realistic. I'm gonna get into movies. Whatever, I was 18, right? So I went to film school, did that, but even when I was in film school, I was doing documentaries about comics, and we had the Silver Snail around the corner from where my school was, so I was there every Wednesday, and I was always just always trying to rope comics and that whole world into everything I was doing. So it felt like a thing that I was holding back. It's like when I am successful elsewhere, then I can jump into comics. Eventually, I just decided, you know what, it's time. It's time to jump in with both feet. I saw a lot of this Kickstarter and crowdfunding stuff going on. I was like, that's something I could wrap my head around and I could figure out. You had a recent guest with Tyler James. He's helped out quite a bit. I'm a part of his program, and he taught me a lot about that whole world. And yeah, so I've been doing that for about 3 years now, and it's been going pretty well. So yeah, very happy with the results. But
so
yeah, it was a long time coming. Yeah.
Let's talk some numbers. Like, what have you done in those 3 years? How many titles have you produced so far?
Yeah, so we just there's a couple anthologies in there. So we're at 9 individual campaigns that we've launched on Kickstarter, with another one coming this month. And within that, we've had well over, I would say, 1,500 individual backers. There's a lot of people who repeat back, which is wonderful. We've had people who've been backing since campaign number 1 and are still backing to date. So 11 campaigns, successful campaigns. One of which, the most successful one, was 750 individual backers. I just actually last week sent all the packages out. It was about 380 packages going all over the world. So it's been pretty cool. Considering it started with a few dozen, like 2-3 dozen backers, and I'm like, this is good, I'm doing okay, to 700 plus. It's been a good good run so far, so happy to keep that going.
Excellent. And what would you say, if you have one lesson for people who are just getting started in Kickstarter, what is the one that you think is the most hard one for you? Like, what was the most difficult one?
It's that first step. It's accepting that your first campaign isn't going to knock people's socks off, in the sense of records being broken and all kinds of backers finding it. Like, you have to put your reps in. You have to, like I said, that first campaign, 2-3 dozen people backed it. It did well. People are still buying that first book that I made on that first campaign, but it's a long tail, right? Like, it's not, you do the first campaign, you are now independently wealthy and you can go retire on a yacht somewhere. Like, this is the first step in a very long journey. So you have to accept that, keep your goals reasonable and keep your expectations not low, but reasonable, and then build from there, right? Like, it doesn't happen overnight. And and the other thing is, it costs money. If you're not the artist, letterer, writer, printer, it's going to cost you some money, right? Kickstarter can help in mitigating some of that, but when you start out, chances are you're putting some of your own dough in to see it through. And hopefully you can get to a stage like, again, even myself, it took me a while, but now I know that I can launch a campaign and at least pay for itself, right? And getting there, it took now I'm launching campaign number 12, so it took me quite a while to get to a point that I know I can launch now and recoup some of those costs, right? So yeah, a big thing to really keep in mind. It's not something that just happens, right?
Well, I will say one of the things that impressed us about what you do, and part of the reason why we feel confident that you're going to do well inside the comic shops, is how much effort and budget and time, obviously, you put into the quality of the books, not just the art itself, not just the storytelling, but also in the packaging. You've impressed us with that. So congratulations. We're really looking forward to getting your books up. Tell us about the first title, and when are we FOCing? Does I have that nearby?
FOC should be, I believe, it's end of March, because we're aiming for the Free Comic Book Day week for it to be on shelves. And with the book I'm talking about, that's from Parts Unknown. So you may have seen it in that graphic that we launched when I came on. There we go. That was very quick of you guys.
Fun.
Yeah, right. So it's pro wrestling vampires. Just throwing it out there. That's what that is. So the whole.
I wonder how Gabe found you.
I found the right market, right?
So it is pretty obvious. If you want to get through Gabe Yoakum to get through the rest of us, you come with some wrestling. It's a pretty easy thing.
Yeah.
So pro wrestling vampires?
Pro wrestling vampires. Yeah. So, and it's a story about, it's wrestling, it's all that, but it's really a story about the two guys you see at the bottom there. They're a tag team, but they're also brothers, right? And it's them kind of surviving this journey up north. They're going to some small show. They don't know anything about it. And then all hell breaks loose, literally, with the vampires left and right. And they got to wrestle their way through it, right? So it was a lot of fun. Again, this was a campaign that did well on Kickstarter and all that. And I've had a lot of great feedback on it. So excited to share this widely beyond the folks that are, checking the front page of Kickstarter now. Now it's going to be available everywhere that you find your comics, which is wonderful. Very excited for that.
Well, not only is it going to be found everywhere that you find your comics, but you don't even know this next bit because we just locked this in this morning. Prana Publishers now, we do our deal is and you know what? Who doesn't also know this is in our chat. Mr. Dirk Manning, who runs Source Point Press. Dirk, pay attention. I've got a nice surprise for you as well. All of our Prana publishers have been, the deal is that we bring you through to Lunar distribution, Universal distribution, which goes to Canada and is going to the US starting this year in a slow rollout. And as of this morning, we can announce that we're now going to be distributed through Diamond UK. Diamond UK will take us to the United Kingdom, England, English retailers, but also the EU, all the rest of the European Union, and a lot of international stores ordered directly from Diamond UK. So we are going to be now we're worldwide. Basically, we're going to be able to get your books out within the sound of my voice. You'll be able to find Pesto Comics and Source Point and Comics the Magazine. So we're really excited. So thank you.
Yeah,
that's on this ride with us.
That's absolutely huge. Yeah, like I said, with the Kickstarters, like I got people all over the world who are looking, but a lot in Europe and a lot in the UK. Like I even went to Thought Bubble, met a lot of people there. So to again know that they'll be able to get these books as well very easily in their stores. That's absolutely huge news. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming on the ride, and thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be doing a longer form interview with you, and I'm sure it's before FOC. We're going to be doing one of our ads that we'll be doing, like one of our interviews that we'll do at the end of the show. The final cut. So yeah.
Will you be at Toronto for Toronto Comic Con in March?
I will make it to one of the days. I'm still not clear which one, but I will be milling about.
Because I'll be there. I'll be
Sweet.
there. So
okay.
We'll say hi.
Sounds
Before
like a plan.
we let you go, I do have one question that's been burning a hole in my pocket for a while. Do you think that people do you think Canadians are so good at comics because there's nothing else to do? Because it's just
That's That's fighting words.
You
Fighting
guys
words.
just
Yep.
like you stay home and you shovel snow, and then you go in and you make or sell comics, right? I mean, that's basically it, right?
I mean, that's true this week, but that's like an exception to the rule.
If it wasn't 760 degrees below zero right now,
Yeah.
I'd fight. I'd fight you, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it hits a little too close to home. This week was a lot of
Yeah.
shoveling. So
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on the show, brother. I'm looking
Thanks for
forward to
having me.
working with you as things go forward.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Let's just power through, man. Let's
Just do it.
so
Just do
excited
it.
for that guy,
Bam,
right?
bam, bam. Yeah.
We are announcing today for the retailers in the room, there is going to be a retailer roundtable for Comics the Magazine #1. This is going to be a private chat, private video chat for those of you who are comics retailers. We're going to show you some behind the scenes work. We're going to show you actual pages from the book that are being developed. We're going to show you kind of what we mean by price guide. We're going to show you we're going to be talking about what is Comics the Magazine and how it's going to work in your shop to build the excitement around comics in your place. Because I think it's going to be so. We are building this really specifically to be a tool to hook people into comics. If you are in the sound of my voice right now and you're a comics retailer, I want you to run, not walk, to your email inbox and send us an email to info@comicsthemagazine.com. And we will get you, we will send you registration paperwork for this, and we'll make sure that you get the private Zoom, or however we decide to do this. We haven't really locked that down. It's coming. It's on the 29th. We have 9 days to figure it out. So it is coming. Gabe Yoakum is going to be the guy manning this. So make sure that you are nice to Gabe because he's going to do it. Now, we are giving away free stuff at this. Get ready for that with that button, Blake. We've totally forgot. We have a giveaway. We have a giveaway for this show. We want you to.
What is going on? What is happening here?
Comment #insiders. We're going to be talking. Sean's coming later in the show. Pipe down. He's coming. We got a lot of show to do. All right. I want you all, especially if you're here to talk to Sean, to put in #insiders, like Jamie Couville, our winner from last week, just did, into the chat. Wherever you're seeing this, we're out on lots of different platforms, and we're going to be giving away one of these rarer, constantly more rare Comics the Magazine #0s. We're going to be giving away a full set of the trading cards that we put together for our previous guests of comics and comic industry insiders. And we might throw in something else. You never know. We're kind of feeling it.
You're crazy.
Not,
You're crazy.
Not
You're drunk
Sean.
with power.
It's not #Sean. It's #insiders. Stop it. I know he's the star. We're going to have him later. #insiders. Let's go. Awesome. Make sure that you're into that. We want to make sure that we'll do a nice little spinny thing at the end of the show. You're not funny, Blake. Not funny at all. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do some headlines. You wanna?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Let's go. Let's go.
Also, we have to take our traditional moment for Blake's slide because he works so hard on this every week.
This is
He does it.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Every single week, he's got something. What the hell's going on with Cadence? I know you talked the story better than I did. Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah, so Cadence Comic Arts was an art agent, and they had been doing stuff with a whole ton of artists for repping them. So they were representing them, arranging for them to be at shows, arranging for commissions, et cetera, et cetera. A whole bunch of accusations happened. There were allegations that they were withholding money, that they were selling commissions without notifying artists, that it was a mess. So I think it was about a year ago, maybe a little more, a whole host of artists on social media posted kind of the same black screen grab that said that they would no longer be represented by Cadence. And then kind of the shenanigans came out. Well, the shenanigans finally went to court. It has been settled out of court, and it looks like things are kind of in the resolution stage. But just like everything court-wise, I imagine the lawyers made a bunch of money. Nobody else did. But yeah, it was just kind of it was a mess. So to see some kind of resolution for it is definitely a good thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will let people move on. It's been interesting because a ton of new reps have kind of popped up in the place of Cadence, and it has gone back to kind of smaller reps again, which I think is healthier for the industry overall than having big mega reps representing people.
We've seen this a couple times before where these art reps, there's so much cash, right? And it becomes an accounting problem more than anything else. I know that we really have to deal with this on the Prana publisher side of making sure that, we're segmenting each client's money before, so that we make sure that they get paid fully for what it is that they're supposed to be getting. It's a real challenge, especially when they're doing so many of these conventions where they're selling art, they're selling commissions, like they're taking the cash in and it has to go to the artist. I imagine it's got to be really difficult, but we've seen, this is, to my mind, I'm thinking right off the top of my head, this is the third, I think, of these art agents that we've heard from that is, have been accused. And this first one I can remember going to court, but man, like you have to be real careful if you're an artist, like which one you choose and how much you trust them and how much you let them go, right? How much lead
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that there's going to be some resolution there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's move on to our next story. This one comes with a nice little surprise. Tell us why we're talking about this there, Brian.
Okay, so first of all, Kevin Smith is my spirit animal. I love Kevin Smith. We're similar in age, and I went to school for television production and left that career, and he's kind of hit similar peaks and valleys that I have in my career, so I've just always loved his career. But I also think that he's written some of the most amazing comics of all time, like his Daredevil run with the Guardian Devil stuff with Joe Quesada, his Green Arrow with Phil Hester is amazing. Just, he's done some seminal work. And on top of that, he makes movies that are just fun. He has like this whole podcast empire. And every time that he promotes comics, I feel Stan Lee's presence in the room, right? He is the carnival barker, Stan Lee kind of guy. And I love that. So Bizarro is one of my favorite characters. Nick Pitara is one of my favorite artists. You combine all that, it's like you got your peanut butter and your chocolate together, and you just added some jelly, like grape jelly, which I didn't even know would taste good with those two things. Look, it's amazing. So yeah,
wait,
it's super exciting.
Which is who is in that scenario? Who is the peanut butter? Who's the chocolate? Who is the grape jelly?
No, it's just a delicious sandwich, man.
I tell you what,
That's
before
just
you
a
answer
good
that,
sandwich.
let's bring one of those components to the stage, shall we? It's Nick Patera.
Patera.
Hey guys, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, first off, usually my room is this super neat A-type, but I messed it all up since it's a Bizarro interview, So
Oh, there you go.
I love it. I love it.
You know what? You're in good company because everybody, my team is always making fun of how sloppy my background is. I always think of it just the lava lamp of real work, right?
Yeah,
things are always moving around because we're working, man. We got no time for cleanup. I don't know what that's going on.
What you guys don't see is that everything before this show immediately gets put into the rec room, and then after it will go back on that shelf and it'll pile to almost the ceiling every week.
Nick, so exciting, right? A Bizarro book in this day and age, especially at DC. DC is killing things right now, man. They're just like out there in the shops. Congratulations on this book.
Yeah, I think DC in general for the last couple of years, they are taking bigger risk, and I feel like those modern image guys that came up from 2010 above, they're really starting to incorporate them. Like for ages I thought, well, why don't they have Nick Dragotta revitalize Batman? If you ever talk to Nick privately, he'll tell you I was on him about it, because you saw people reading the manga stuff. He's got that manga influence. Like they need to I love the old guys, but the old guys can't be around forever. Like bring the modern stuff. And my stuff is real weird and strange. I think it's odd looking. It's very European, but it's got silliness and heart too, and sometimes violence. So that limits my range. And I was like, man, for years I thought I would love to work on Bizarro because I'm such a all-star Superman fan and a Frank Quietly fan, a big art collector of his. And I was like, I've always told him privately that I'm his Kmart clone. I'm Pataro, And so I've wanted to work on this character forever. And I used to draw him a lot. I did a little mini pitch years ago with him because I just thought, like, with me being a mimic of Vin, you know, in a lot of ways of Frank Quietly, that I thought, man, I could do a definitive Bizarro story one day. And then late last year, DC wrote and asked me if I wanted to do it. So I was all in. And then once Kevin Smith and Eric Carrasco are the writers, and the script is incredible. Like, it's incredible. And it's a fun thing. Oh, I got a little timer going off. I'll be right back. 1 second. I don't want that beeping the whole time.
While he's taking care of that timer, do you think you can pull them together? I don't remember exactly which one it is.
I know you did. That was my deadline timer. You know, 1 hour.
Dude, I have one of those too. Mine's like
Yeah.
right behind me right now. It's the best thing ever. ADHD superpower.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to pitch the book, but it's like the formation of Bizarro World. You know, it's the year one. We're calling it year none. It's super cool. Here's some unseen. Here's an unseen piece. But we're like gonna put him on the edge of the planet. I love this here. It's like this. So it's all hyper detailed and just over the top. And I'm trying to go all out, but like I love they're really playing with the concept. And man, they just nailed his personality and heart. This is all pages I'm probably not supposed to show, but I'll show you guys.
I love it.
Bizarro like talking to Jimmy, and Bizarro hulking out and freaking out. But I'm trying to add tons of detail and lots of zaniness, but also lots of heart. So, and
That's
as far
amazing.
as all-time best Bizarros, you can't beat Bruce Timm's. I think.
Yes,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's the one. So I try to capture some of his spirit in my own wiggly lines. So yeah.
Well, we are super excited for this. Thank you so much for contributing to The Future Is too. Like, your cover was just phenomenal. Have we talked about that yet?
Wait,
Anyway.
we haven't announced the cover.
Oh, shush. All right, maybe that's coming up. Oh, what's this? You got it?
Is he going to show?
No, I do not have the cover with me. I'm sure it is, but it's in a pile of somewhere back here.
That'd be amazing.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, both you guys, I'm friends with Joe Keating, and he speaks so highly of you guys. And Adam, he mentions you a lot, and I know he was sharing that you had best mover and shaker in comics, right? That's pretty cool.
Marketer of the year.
Yeah. So I know Joe's super proud of you, and he references you a lot when we talk privately. And I don't know the infrastructure of what you're doing, but clearly you're doing cool stuff. So,
Thank you. I don't really know the infrastructure of what we're doing either. We just keep trying to, like, I think at the end of the day, I mean, just not to make this too serious, but I think at the end of the day, everything we're doing with Prana, with Comics and Magazine, with the show, with Comic Industry Insiders, even the work we're doing with Brian, I will say that, like, our goal really is just to make a better industry, right? Yep. Because Brian and I talk about this a lot. Like, listen, I can do plenty wrong. Okay. But we, at the end of the day, like, this is the industry we rely on. This is the thing that we love the most, and we need to leave it better than we found it. So we're just constantly looking for ways to build that connective tissue, to build the assets that the entire industry can use. And so, the fact that people notice it, it's nice, but, like, I also can't think about it too much because there's just too much work to do. We can fluff you up all day because of your work. I mean, it's incredible. So I think it's the fact that you're now going to be with Brian's, all-time favorite writer. I think that just says so much about where you are in your career, and we're crazy looking forward to having you. We'll have you back when we talk about how well your book sold. How's that?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'm excited, and just a shout out to Kevin and Eric, the writers on the series. They've done an incredible job, and they love the character. Like, when I fell in love with them a few years back, I did a bunch of research on him. I love Of Mice and Men, Bizarro and Superman meets George and Lenny, kind of thing. And I always liked that
awesome.
take. I felt like it was right there, and someone needed to do it. And they're doing that a little bit. It's got the heart, but it's got the zaniness, and you just tell they love the character. They love the character, and getting to see how he forms, and in a lot of ways we get the privilege of looking back on the character, and then they're like forming this. They're winking at it all, but it feels modern. Like there's some like 50s humor, but also they got cell phones, but also I don't know. There's a lot of character and a lot of thought that came into it, and I'm just really honored to have been asked to work on it. So I'm trying to go crazy and throw the detail in and make it happen. So yeah, and they're great guys and great collaborators. So
That's amazing.
We had a good question in the chat from our own Blake, Blake's Buzz. What should people be reading to prepare themselves, to be ready for this run? Do you have any references that you're going back to?
I mean, it is a year one, but if you know, it's kind of like, I know that Kevin and Eric are huge fans of All-Star Superman like me, where Vin and Grant got to look back at the character and form something new, but felt like it fit, And this Bizarro story, I would say he's backwards Superman, right? And it's a year one, so you don't need to read anything. And he's had such different takes over the time that you can do them all, but they're like hints or winks at them, from how he gets his backwards S to how he gets his plated face, and all that's going to be in there. But
awesome.
Maybe if you read 3 stories, they're going to have 3 different Bizarros in it. So ideally we're doing the definitive, indefinitive Bizarro year none story. So I would say you don't have to read any, just know he's a zany, heartfelt, toddler, temper tantrum, trying hard and failing kind of backwards god of Bizarro World. And it's epic.
Cannot wait, man. What are you looking forward to? If I know you talk to Joe, and Joe is always one of the things that he said that I think I take a little bit out of what you're saying as well, is that we talk a lot about this generation. We call it the Dogman generation, right? These kids that were kind of steeped in comics from the very beginning, and then they found manga and they fell in love with manga, and they just tearing through that, and now they're all getting jobs, right? They're all stepping forward and getting ready for bringing money into the comic shops and starting to buy single issues just in time for Nick and Scott to do Absolute Batman with a giant axe, right? And I will say, I don't want to, maybe you have the same advice, but Joe's advice, and I think it really hammers home, and at some point we're going to have him say it on a screen, is like, if you have a title right now that is big dude with an axe, or like that kind of energy, right? That's kind of the energy you bring to your work. That's exactly what is going to transition these Dogman manga kids into Western comics. That's the theory, right?
I think there needs to be a marriage of the two. You see the 90s, that big visual impact, but the stories were weaker. And then you get these really thoughtful, maybe slice of life type stories that are sentimental. The marrying of the two is where it's at. Like my book, Axe Wielder John, this big barbarian covered in axes, he's giving you all the killing. He's giving you all the aesthetics, but there's also a lot of heart and thought in the writing. Like I worked on the story much longer than the art. I thought about it for years. And I think comics are visual at the end of the day. You need big impactful visuals for like American superhero comics. I think that's what I believe. And I think as we draw, the artist in me wants to say it's merit based. I'm going to out detail you. I'm going to out mega you, but it needs the writing needs to be there too. And I think when those touch, you're going to have your best chance at a winner in comics, things that I think, like creating a new scene. There's something really wonderful and sad about the big 2 stuff. Like I love the big 2, but once you've gone through the cycle of people have died and come back, you're just like, okay, I've done this, then you're like, okay, well, what else is there? And you start looking at stuff. And then as you're an artist, you're like, oh, I want it to do that, but it's already been done. So maybe you go do your own thing. And the big 2 are like trees to me. And if they're unstable, the the apples fall, and then you start these new pockets. And with social media, we all have our own little pockets. We have our own. I'm my own promoter now, and we have this like real great power to like do it, fail. You know, it's the new frontier. It's the Wild West. You can either fail, but I can also innovate. Marvel and DC might move slower. DC says I can't show pages. I can show pages for a year and make this thing real before it comes out. But I think now with DC strong back and Comics the Magazine, that you're creating, you see like Eric Canetti's doing sample pages to do Absolute Batman, and everyone wants to get a cover. I sit next to Nick at shows, Dragata, and everyone's coming up. And it's like the seeds are trying to come back to the tree. And I think as long as they are bringing that innovation on the big characters, because the big characters are our biggest megaphones, if they keep innovating and taking risks, the big publishers, I think we'll be in a really healthy spot. But if they don't, if they just rehash or they do weaker stuff or pay lower rates and get lower merit talent, maybe, no judgment. But if you do that, then it's less stable. Why risk 300 a page or 200 a page there when I can make 3 and own it myself and be my own business? But then, of course, if you do that, you have an office that looks like this and bills and that's the whole game. And I love that innovation. I love the risk taking. For me, not all artists love that, but I like that they're someone at DC. I think it may be Scott and Dragata and a few editors over there where they're looking at the landscape and like, let's try that. And that makes me really excited, and like that someone could see my weird work, and it is weird, and be like, this would be a fit for Bizarro and Kevin Smith. Someone's like thinking, well, what would work on this and how could it work? And that makes me excited for the industry at the big 2 level too. And we've all had to learn in this shakiness of maybe crowdfunding or making our own way, an image or whatever. We've learned a little bit more about the business too. And if those can marry again, you're going to get a really healthy industry, and everyone's going to get in where they fit in. There's been oftentimes in my industry, like in my journey, why haven't I been picked? Well, I go back and look at those pages and I'm like, I wouldn't have picked me then, but when I'm finally drawing at that level, you'll get invited. Maybe there's a lag of a couple of years, but you keep doing good work and proving you can do good work, you'll make it, and
you're 6 figures on Zoop, and hopefully that gets somebody's attention, right?
Yeah, that works well. And then the last thing is this is my anti-AI argument.
Let's go.
AI is this crazy thing, man, but you're your own entity. You can only get a Nick Dragata or Nick Patera art from you. You are your own Alamo. So draw the pages by hand, because you could have always copied my art JPEG and put it on your phone, but you wanted the original art. If you want it from this entity, there's this concept in economics where this guy sells oranges from Georgia and this guy sells them for Florida. Which one's better? Or peaches, right? It's about marketing. It's about brand recognition. And it's about one of one, and art is one of one and stories one of one. And the beautiful thing in life isn't perfection. My wife is not a supermodel, but all of her imperfections, when she's mad at me because I'm a jerk, that makes me love her, that's what I want. I don't want something pristine, I want a blemish, and humans have blemishes and stories have blemishes, and AI only creates to the mean, and they don't create to the singular, which is you. And you'll, as you grow older, you guys know this, in your 30s and 40s, you start finding yourself, you get comfortable with yourself, and you realize all the averages, who cares? Like, be you, and then the more you do that, the more confident you are, the more confident your artwork is. So AI doesn't scare me there. It scares me for the future of a young kid being like, I can't beat this computer. But it's just like looking at the industry. I can't beat Mobius or Frank Quietly or Jeff Darrow, but I can be me, as long as you're beating you the next day, you're your own Alamo. You draw that line and you fight to the last pencil. That's how I feel about AI. Not that you guys asked.
No,
That's
dude,
amazing.
are you
That's
kidding?
amazing.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise with the two of us. You were spitting fire
Yeah.
here, my friend. Let's go.
Absolutely.
We have a special guest who's going to be talking about market share here in a minute. I want to bring him to the screen real quick. If you want to bring him up, Sean from the Comics Pals. I don't know if you know the Comics Pals, but they're an incredible channel, an incredible community of comics people. They absolutely love our industry, and we're bringing Sean in to talk about market share. It occurred to me we have a rare opportunity to let him ask a question here. So we're really tight on time, but I do want to give some room here. Sean, anything for Nick here before we lose him?
First of all, Nick, you couldn't see me, man, but I was cheering and smiling huge while you were talking, brother. I love the message that you just sent right now. Like, all that was just facts. Incredible. My question for you, when you talk about how the 90s was, just so art focused, and you had the heavy hitters, you had Jim Lee and everybody else, right? And then in the 2000s, it kind of went the other way. How do you think we do arrive at that marriage point that you talked about, where we can get back that excitement for beautiful, dynamic, different art and love the stories that we're getting nowadays?
I think for me as an artist, it's bottom up, and then from the companies, it's top down. So I think every great artist I love, I'll be critical of me and them. We're not spending. My wife is a writer. She just came out with a mystery novel and made USA Today bestseller list. She spends longer time writing than I do drawing. And she did it for 30 years before she got published. I think sometimes for us, we're like, cool character design, unleash, rip the cord and let them run through the sequential. But you've got to think about structure. You got to dedicate that craft and respect it too. And that's the bottom up, right? Like, if we're going to create, we're going to do that. From the top down, if I'm a publisher or an editor, the people hiring, I think you need to be aware of the different people and how they can fit. Maybe a little more than they have been. I have a lot of respect for editors, because sometimes it's about guys that can just get it out, because you got to make product. But I think if you have a little vision, you look at Nick Dragata on East of West. He does this long run. Before that, he was at Marvel, underappreciated. And then he comes out, and no one was clamoring to throw him a big contract right away. That was when I was like, dude, they're going to hire you. And he did a different book right after that. It was like a manga book in Image that was really cool, super cool, but no one talked about it because it wasn't Batman and it wasn't with Hickman. And then someone said, Scott, I believe, said, let's do this, Dragata. And I think editorial, trusting the creatives a little more, at least they're pillar creatives that kind of know the industry, is a really good way to do it. You got to care. Whatever it is, you have to care. You can't just be like, I care about this design. You got to care about the story. And you can't just be like, we need to get a Batman book out. We got to look at projecting to the future. Look what the kids are reading now. How can we convert this? And if Dogman was hitting hard, then get some zany artists to do a cool Batman thing, because our biggest promoters in the big two are our characters, like there's a reason they tell me to make sure Superman is on a Bizarro cover. There's a reason, because Bizarro might not do it alone. But also, when you get it, you got to really think. And what I love about the script that I got, and working with Hickman and some of the writers I've worked with now, they really do think about a lot, and they care a lot. And I think everyone has to care a little more and look to the future. And with Comics the Magazine, and really with this absolute boom that's happening, there's going to be, it feels like that shattered trees coalescing back. And that has me super excited, because at the end of the day, I'm still that kid that goes on Wednesday and flips through the Batman book, but give them something they want, and give them, I think also marketing needs to get better. Everybody, artists are either don't want to promote because they don't want to seem full of themselves. I don't have that problem. I will promote, I will shill anything, but they also, sometimes they won't. A big problem I had at Image, I knew McFarlane and some of those guys loved Trad Moore and James Herron early on. I know that. None of them ever said, this is the guy. This new guy is the guy. They never tapped them on the head and said, guys, buy this, because I think we got egos too. I think we need to wash away the ego and care more at every level and commit to the bit. Because honestly, no one's getting rich at this. Very few, maybe Dragata now, which is good for him. And I'm proud of Dragata, but you're doing it because you love it. So treat it like you love it. Don't just treat it like anything, because I can go push carts at Costco and make more money these days. So go all out, and care, and taking chances. Like, I'll bring up Comics the Magazine again, but like Joe sent me that, and I was like, and he showed me the hot list on that, and I remember looking at that hot list in Wizard, but y'all doing it on sales. I was like, don't do it on sales, do it on opinion. Like, do it on opinion. Have your sales chart, but do it on like Nick says this guy's better than that top guy. You know, like have it be an argument, have it be a little.
Oh, there's gonna be
spice.
plenty of arguing. That's
Yeah.
gonna be.
But I really like that. But that's a risk. Like, who puts out a comics magazine today? Who puts out a comic today? Right? Yeah. But then you've got to think, and then it becomes back in the lab, all the work. And as much as that magazine shows up, people are placing letters. People are not responding to an email fast enough. There's 14 meetings, and that part, the work part, has to be done too. And that's on me as well, because I'll get crazy about some commission that has nothing to do with what I need to be working on, or a story idea because it's the new shiny thing. And we've just all got to focus and care a little more. And that's on me from the bottom up, but from the top up too, in a big way. And when those meet, I think there's, I was talking to Frank quietly. I got to visit him recently, and he's writing some stuff, and there was an epiphany. I was like, he's told me about this thing that happened to him, but he also told me about a creator-owned idea he had. It was so clearly a personal thing that he was manifesting in this bigger story. Write yourself, and I think if you dig enough in your story, that will be there. That self is unique to you, and it's not just my version of the X-Men or my version of this. The more uniqueness, I reference manga a lot here. They go out when they pitch, they don't say, here's the 3 things it's like. They're saying it's kind of like I'm sorry for ranting. Everything coalesces on Batman Vigilante or Wolverine. In manga, it's like that real estate's been staked. I'm going to do a food truck where someone fishes in the desert and catches machine guns, you know, and it's absolutely bananas. But if you do that, you can take that skin and be like, whatever it was called, food truck delivery assassin. You can go do that with a great story. And that's just looking at screenplay and Save the Cat and the how-to writing books. If those meet, we can have the absurd, we can have the Dogman, we can have all that at the next level with the big bombastic art from the 90s. And I think I think that's where it's at. And that's a lot of words, but it's about caring.
Dude, it is killing me to cut you off because you are spitting straight fire this week. But so we're gonna have to do a much longer version. We're gonna have to have you back on the show. I literally just texted Joe. We're gonna have to have a full interview with this guy.
Boot me out of here. I gotta go, guys. I gotta go draw Bizarro.
Go.
Hey,
go.
You gotta make some Bizarro magic.
Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Keep setting the world on fire. See you guys.
Sean,
Thank
we're
you
gonna
so
have
much,
you back for the market share, so stick around. Let's bring to the forefront our feature. The feature comic shops are taking off. So just a little bit, just an introduction. We talked about this.
Sorry, Adam. Can we just take a breath? Just take a breath. That was friggin' awesome.
I know.
It's the best. Like this, yeah. Thank you so much, Nick. That was incredible.
You know what? We talked about Joe a lot. Gabe Yoakum talks about when Joe starts talking about comics, Gabe gets so fired up he wants to run through a wall.
Yeah.
I'm ready to leave like an atom-shaped hole in the wall right here. I'm ready to go.
Gotta dial you down just a moment. Just take a breath. That was incredible. So thank you so much, Nick.
Thank you.
I can't wait to have you back and talk more.
If you haven't already, go pre-order for Bizarro.
Bizarro. Data's not out yet, Adam. It doesn't come out until this Friday.
Oh my God, the data's not even out. All right, after this Friday, you got to go and go to your local comic shop and tell them you want the Bizarro book with Kevin Smith and Nick Patera because, God damn. All right,
was awesome. Yeah.
Let's do this. Earlier this year, we did, or actually at the end of the year last year, we did a prediction show where we talked about the year before and we talked about what we were expecting to come up. in that show, I said that this is the year that we're going to start seeing not just 4% year over year for increases in comic shop count, the store counts, but we're actually going to see a dramatic increase in the number of comic shops as we see this Dogman generation come into shops, as we see the Absolute line and this book now, Bizarro, is going to have its own chapter in our work. As we see these things, people are going to start coming into the shops. We're going to see these shops really taking over. I've made the prediction that not only we're going to see the increase, but we're going to see our first national chain really step forward and begin to stake a claim to the territory of our U.S. Market and beyond. And I will say we have been blessed with two of the people I think are probably represent the two of the best candidates for these chains. One of them, actually both of them, have been on the show at different points. So let's bring them on now. Let's start with what came on our show to talk about the incredible drama that happened at Diamond at the end. He was a big part of the success at Diamond. He's been a big part of retail. One of my good friends, Chris C.P. Powell. Come on, buddy. Now games and comics. No of anymore, right? We're getting rid of
we got rid of the of.
What's your title there now?
I'm Director of Texas Operations this week.
Director of Texas Operations this week, he says, as though he knows.
I just got new cards.
Awesome. Let's bring in our second guest. I have introduced him more than once as perhaps the smartest retailer I know. This was before Chris became a retailer again. From Virginia, from Maryland, from all over the East, Mr. Steve Anderson from Third Eye. I'm not clicking the button. Someone else should. There we go.
What's
Hello,
up?
my friend. How are you?
Hey.
I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. You're just diving in here, CP. Brian Fudge, you're on the list of smartest people I know in comics. I mean, you're on the list. Okay. We have seen incredible growth in the stores. We see an aggregate. Are you seeing the same? Are you seeing the same growth in your stores that we're seeing across the board? Has that been your experience so far?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year's off to a crazy start as early as it is. We have meetings every Monday where for all 12 stores now we go over year-to-year results, and every time I expect to hear something not as good as the week before, and we're just growing like crazy.
Yeah, it's the same story here. I mean, it's awesome. It's fun. I mean,
yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. There as a consultant, as somebody whose job it is to see around corners, I have a short list of people I call and say, "Hey, what's coming up next?" Steve, you were the first one to tell me that. I believe at the time you said this was a content generation that's coming up. Can you talk about you at the time you were showing it as a dichotomy between the two different schools of thought of people who buy comics? Can you talk a little bit about that?
yeah. I mean, I think that there's always kind of a different type of comic buyer every generation, and there's a cycle that they age in. So it's always reflective of kind of where they were when they were first getting into comics. If the average age of a Wednesday comic buyer is 25 to 40, a little bit on the other side of that sometimes, then and that's your weekly in the store every Wednesday kind of buyer, then whatever was kind of popping for them when they were I don't know, 12, 13, 14, that's going to kind of speak to them better. So if you look at the last kind of period where we saw a good amount of new readers coming in, which was 2019, 2020, 2021, it was variant covers, it was Venom, it was Spawn. We saw a big uptick in that. Coincidentally enough, I sell other categories too, and we saw the same thing. Corn was popular again. You know what I mean? That's all kids from the late 90s. And now, and then you always have a down after. You know what I mean? Well, one generation maxes, and then they age out, and then a new generation comes in. And the new generation coming in, these are people who all grew up on Toonami, Cowboy Bebop, Y the Last Man, Chew, Invincible, Walking Dead, Ultimate Spider-Man. That's all content heavy stuff. And it's pretty dope. I mean, I love a content heavy market. That's the best, you know, because people just want to read cool shit.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It occurs to me, I didn't give you guys a chance to crow about why you're even here and why you are, to my mind, two of the biggest candidates for this first national chain. Let's start with you, CP. Can you talk about Coliseum and its history and what is the footprint that it has right this second?
Yeah, I have had a lot of conversations with different retailers, and whenever Phil and Ryan, the Boyles, it's a husband, it's like they're such a good team. They share the store load between marketing and operations and vision that they share. And so we have 10 stores in Florida, based in Orlando, but stretching north and south from there. We now have, just in the last month, opened our first 2 outside of Florida. There was a great opportunity here in North Texas. Generation X was, Tabitha and Wayne, fantastic store, great retailer.
I love that store. Yeah.
They were retiring out to the country so they can have more cattle, and, approached Phil, and, they then asked me if I was willing to move back to Texas, and here I am. We see this market and the overall market as so strong that, it wasn't some risk. It was just a matter of figuring out logistics and people and whatnot to make this work. The reason that I agreed to do this and that I wanted to work with the folks at Coliseum anyway kind of goes to what Steve was saying. As I think of it less in terms of content, although content is an aspect of it. It's an experience generation, because we can see things like the Netflix house or all of these different kind of event places popping up in malls instead of shopping. And when you have IP and content, whether it's to read or a store experience, that's what people are looking for, because even if you have great content, you still have to set yourself apart from big box, Amazon, et cetera. And that's what we as retailers do. And I saw a chain that was incredibly successful at that already and felt like I could help make it a little bit better.
Steve, I know we have a long form interview with you. In fact, you are one of our trading cards. Look at that right there. I'm gonna get that glare off of you.
That's me like 50 pounds ago.
You can, as somebody who is manning the chat, point out, you can win a Steve card today. All you got to do is put #insiders into the chat here in a window. We're going to give that and a copy of Comics the Magazine #0 away at the end of the show. Talk about Third Eye. What is its place in the East, and why have you had such an impact?
Yeah, I mean, so Third Eye started in 2008. We've got 8 locations currently, and a pretty robust e-commerce presence. We just love what we do. I mean, we're a nerd store, you know what I mean? And we're a all-encompassing nerd store. I mean, we do all categories: comic books, graphic novels, toys, games, apparel, records, movies. I mean, we do the whole 9 yards. It just, everything kind of evolves organically. We open the first store, we do good. We open the next store, we do good. We start branching out. We open up our first pure tabletop game store, and then we branch out into, where we are now, where we have all these different categories represented in our stores. And for us, I mean, it's really just like a natural evolution of basically looking at, like, where is there a good, healthy spot that needs a great place to go buy all their favorite things. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's kind of how it comes to be. I mean, the strength to our success is always the fact that we build a strong team, and that strong team is what enables us to be able to keep growing and keep putting Third Eyes in new places. You know what I mean?
100%. And having been in those stores, much in the same way the Coliseum stores, I think the thing that they have in common, and arguably the thing they had in common with Generation X, was just how immaculately clean and how incredibly well designed and organized and well trained the staff in both of those chains are. I think it's a testament to both of you that you're raising the bar, not just as comic shops, right, but also as professionals, right? They feel like professional places that you want to be. CP, you've done this now. I mean, you started in retail, then you had a slight diversion into wholesale there for a little while. Back now in retail. Your first outing, it is arguable that your presence is what took the Lone Star Comics chain from 1 or 2 stores to as big as it was. I think at the time it might have been the largest chain in comics. What do you think is what is the characteristic of our first national chain, whether you're on the screen or not? But what would be, if you were looking for a chain of stores that is going to grow that sort of exponentially, that sort of geographically broad, what would that look like?
I think that, and it's something that we've wrestled with, this is a long distance relationship between the Texas stores and Orlando. And, a lot of it is you have to have systems in place. If you have 3 stores to be successful, you need an awful lot of systems, but those need to be scalable, whether that is, in this case, I took over 1 successful store and we're opening another one from scratch within 2 weeks of each other. So I'm getting both ends of the spectrum, that all I'm doing is rearranging it Generation X and giving it some different flavor, while starting from scratch with the second location in Arlington. I get to do it the way I want to do it. And that it still falls back on the systems that existed in the other 10 stores, whether it's a loyalty program that, you can share between stores, which is technology, gift cards, things like that. But more than that, it's the training of employees, it's consistency of experience from one location to another. And that has to flow from the top. And, what I think the Boyles brought to this was trusting me to do this out here, because they know they can't be here all the time. And that means that you have to have owners that are willing to find the right people to work with, that they can count on, because you cannot be in every store in the country if you have them in 12 states. Yeah. So you've really got to know, our Monday meeting, we have certain beats that we hit every single week, so everybody knows what their responsibilities are and things like that. But at the end of the day, we've all gone to Coliseum College. We have successful employee training programs that they are encouraged to do, because it's tied to their, promotions and pay. And so those are all things that you can't get by without them. I couldn't have done 8 stores at Lone Star 15 years ago, except Buddy had really great systems. So, that's where it starts. But you also just can't have a corporate nerd in charge that doesn't actually care about anything past the dollars and cents. Everybody that works in the main office at Coliseum, just like Lone Star, just like at Third Eye, is passionate about what we do.
I believe that. You talk about employee training, and I will say one of the things that I have loved most about my interactions with Third Eye, in fact, Torma, often in the audience, the first time I met him was he greeted me at a Third Eye, and I'm like, oh, this guy's going somewhere. But it was really, he was just trained so well. Steve, you guys run so many different kinds of stores. Can you talk just a moment? And I swear I have one more question for both of you, and then we're going to let you go, because I know you both have busy jobs. But you have talk about, like, what is the common denominator for how you build those systems that CP is talking about for all of the different kinds of retail you're building?
I mean, first you find what works, right? And then you have to figure out what works that you can communicate. You know what I mean? Because what always works isn't always going to work across, Third Eye has 73 employees. So, I mean, 73 employees, scaling that out, that's going to be hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you identify what works, and then you beat it up, and you find out, you stress test it, and you find out basically, okay, cool, that doesn't scale. This is what we need to do differently. And it's a constant thing where you're learning. And honestly, you learn from others. I mean, like, I talk to Phil a lot. I think he's one of the smartest guys in comics. And like, I'm always talking to other retailers that like I can learn from and pick up things from, because that's what helps us kind of bring those systems out. But I mean, the biggest thing that I've run into in terms of getting systems to work is making sure that they're simple, scalable, and easy to communicate. And that's and it all starts with the customer experience. Does the system support the customer experience? Yes, cool. Then we need to figure out how to make that system work. If it doesn't support the customer experience, and that system is a bad system.
You know what? There's conversation that we've had about like what policies publishers should have, and I think at the end of the day, that is the real question, right? What is it serving the customer, and what is going to make that experience the best for them? I 100% agree with that. Let's talk. There's one more quick question, and then we'll let you guys go. At the end of our show, that led to this prediction, that led to this show. We asked everybody to make a what do we call it? A Yule boast, as it were, like some sort of brag, some sort of like in the coming year, I'm gonna buy DC Comics because apparently it's up for sale. Let's start with UCP. What do you think in the coming year?
I think in the coming year, we're going to identify more places that need coliseums. I need more to do. I'm going to get bored with just 2 stores to run, and so I think that there are plenty of underserved places within an easy drive of where I am right now, and I'm going to go find them.
I love that. What about you, Steve? In the coming year?
In the coming year, I'm going to have more people saying buy Third Eye or die.
Let's go.
Boys,
great. I am so honored to be able to call you both friends. I'm so glad you were able to come with us. Brian, I'm sorry, I didn't let you talk at all. Do you have anything you want to ask these guys before we let them go?
You're running through brick walls right now.
Who's
the first chain that's going international and coming up to Canada?
We'll get there.
I'm a quarter.
We'll talk.
I was going to grow like kudzu straight up that coast. Awesome. All right, boys. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we're looking forward to having you the next time. And again, if you haven't already, #insiders, you're going to get that sweet Rock and Steve Anderson card. We got to get Chris Powell a card.
Chris, congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, buddy. We're so glad to have you.
All right.
I always keep saying comics will never let you leave. And you definitely are an indicator of that. All right. Thanks so much. Let's get into market share, Juana. Or do I need to take a moment to decompress now?
Holy mackerel. There's more?
There's
How
more.
much are we going to give today, Adam? Let's do it. Let's do market share.
Give until I literally run through a wall. All right. We have at our fingertips the best sales data available in comics. There are other people who are trying, I can say qualitatively, quantitatively, any other tatively you want, that between Comic Shop Assistant and Managed Comics, we are now putting together the strongest system of POS sales data on the market. We've been Django has been great in filling us in while Brian here is building some systems so that we can expand this even further. We have now 98 stores that we're getting sales information from, including some of the really biggest comic shops out there. That allows us to talk about market share. It allows us to talk about what is selling in comic shops today. We brought an expert, then now our third time bringing him to the stage, Sean. By the way, Sean, I don't know why I don't know your last name. I only know you as Sean from Comics Pals. Like, it's just like, is that your last name now? Have you officially become Sean from the Comics Pals?
Yes, it is a very long last name. I am part Dominican, so sometimes our families, we have those really long last names. That's what happened to me.
I got you. How's the show been so far? Because you are the expert in these live shows, my friend.
Oh yeah. No, this has been phenomenal. First of all, I am a huge fan of this show. I watch it as often as I can. Brian, it's great to meet you. I am so used to hearing you talk. To be able to talk to you is almost weird. But it's great to be here. I'm Sean from the Comics Pals. Thank you guys so much for having me. I am so glad that you are bringing this kind of market share information to the public. We need it desperately.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's until you can start looking at data, until you can start looking at what's actually happening, the rest is just hype. right? And don't get me wrong, I love me some hype. I'm a hype man at my core, but like until you can really start learning what works and what doesn't work, we're never going to grow as rapidly as we can. So this is one of those tools we talked about earlier about needing it. Here's look at this. Look at this. The pals have gotten me so much more interested in the background goings on and sales of comic shop health. Come on, man. You're doing the work. You are doing the work. Thank you for being here. I can't believe it. Yes, exactly. Django is helping us. You can't manage what you don't measure.
It's a great point.
Or put another way, what is measured matters. And what isn't measured doesn't matter. Right?
Oh.
All right. So this week we are looking at sales data from last week. That has been our newest innovation, is we've been able to bring forward sales that are happening on a week-to-week basis. Last week we talked about who was winning, who was losing in the comic shops. This week we're going to do that again, but because we have Sean here, we're going to do some call outs and talk about specific books on the top 400. We're going to tell you how you can see the rest of the 400 at the end of this, but let's get into it, shall we? Who is leading this week? Marvel back on top.
Wow.
My goodness. Let's go. Actually, you know what? Can we do this thing, because I want to go back and then come forward? Oh, I thought I was going to do the little bouncing thing where it jumped up.
Yeah, I know. It didn't bounce.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we'll work on that. Blake, God damn it.
Oh no, it's not his fault. It's because we have to convert it to PDFs for.
I know.
That's not him at all.
I know, but
That's
he,
not him.
he needs me to poke him to get him to go.
Oh, no, we gotta love Blake. All the love for Blake.
You saw the top 400 list, Sean.
Yes.
What happened here? How did Marvel get back up front?
So this is actually very surprising. Now, I say that because everybody was talking about how unbelievable DC did, and DC deserves a ton of praise for their success of late. But Marvel has a way of climbing back to the top. And when you look at the top 10, it's a lot more Marvel than it was certainly in December. I don't know how much of this you want to go into, but Marvel had a really good week, and not just in terms of pushing out a ton of books. They actually put out some pretty quality books.
So let's talk about those books, but first let's get into who else is on this list. We've got Dynamite coming in, a solid number 5. I will say we've gotten used to seeing IDW here. They do all those really amazing licensed books. Image at that kind of, they've really settled into that 14 to 15%. I will say that seems to be a generally week-to-week average. Dark Horse, Udon doing well. I mean, I'm sure if we looked at the sales numbers of bookstores, they would be much higher on this list than even some of these other people. But we're just talking about comic shops right this second. Boom doing a solid job. Can we talk? I know we do this every single week these days, but Mark Spears, this X Posse Holdings is just Mark Spears. It's one artist making this work. Mark Spears do you guys talk any Mark Spears on the pals?
We have, because of the blind bag bonanza, so to speak. Mark Spears is one of the spearheads of that, and I give him his flowers. I think it's incredible what he has managed to achieve as a one-man show by and large, and I think it's a testament to the way that marketing and selling comics has changed. Mark Spears is a belle of the ball online, on Whatnot, on these different platforms that, the direct market really hasn't, there is no pipeline to that. Right. So I love the fact that he's doing it in a diverse way. And it's art focused.
100%. Then following in Oni Press, I'm going to pull out this quote from Joe Keating in our chat. We talk about Joe. You're like the secret guest this week. He has been telling us Oni Press is going to double their market share this year and or next year. You agree? Do you think he's right about that? Either one of you. What do you feel about this? Personally, my old friend Hunter Goranson used to work with him at Valiant. one of the smartest players in the market. Like, that dude is very smart, very driven, very hardworking. I know he put together an incredible team. I would not be surprised to see this, but yeah, I'll leave that to you. And then I know, Sean, you had some call outs, right? You wanted to talk about.
Yes. So there were three books that stuck out to me for different reasons this week in terms of sales. I want to start with Avengers number 34, aka Avengers 800. I have my copy right here. Now, this issue is notable not just because it's issue 800, but it's the return of Avengers writing legend Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley to the book. So I thought it was interesting that this book, for all of that, was only 11th in sales. The Avengers title has typically done well, top 20 in sales since Jed McKay picked up on the book. I thought that this week, given all the hype around it, that it would do better. Here are the problems. One is that this book is $7.99. Right? So that price point is going to turn off a lot of people who would have otherwise picked this up casually because they wanted to come back for Bendis. I am one of those people who came back for Bendis. The other thing that's really notable that we discovered on my show while we were live, so if you want to check that out, listen to the most recent episode of Pals Pulls, was this. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but as it turns out, go ahead.
Is that the staples coming out of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was a problem that so many of my listeners had as well with their cover A's of Avengers 800.
So the staples were pulling out of this $7.99 comic?
Yeah. And that's
I think
not
they
a
used
book.
the wrong size staple. I think they were the shallower ones because it is like prevalent, and the message boards are up in arms over it, or the Facebook groups, I should say. And Penguin Random House actually announced that they are doing a fix for it.
All right. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm with you. I was excited. I'm excited to see Bendis and Bagley back on the scene. You're right. It's such a flub, though, right? I hope that's. I'm really curious to see if that team is able to build the kind of market share that they have in the past. But and I know that Marvel will do their best, including throwing as many SKUs at us as possible. But yeah, wow, that's a flub. That's a hard flub.
Unfortunate.
Oh, just cover A, says Brian Fudge. So all right, thank you, Brian. Well, all right. What else? So tell us what else were your biggest surprises out of our top 400 this week.
So this next one is one of my favorite books to talk about, not just because of how good it is, but because I think it's a success story that we can all learn something from, and that's Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees Rite of Spring. This is issue 5, and it placed number 20th in sales. Now, it's an IDW book, and a lot gets said about IDW, but I think it's worth pointing out that IDW has one of the few really competitive selling books in the market that's not a pre-existing IP. This is in-house. Patrick Horvath developed this. IDW put a lot of marketing behind it. I remember New York Comic Con 2024. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing some Beneath the Trees marketing, and it worked. Here we are talking about the sequel being number 20 on a list number 21. Number 20 on a list that includes books like Action Comics, which is just after it, Wonder Woman, Doctor Strange, Absolute Superman, Batman and Robin. These are massive names, and Beneath the Trees is outselling all of those.
I think there's a lot of conversation. Nick actually talked a little bit about it, and a lot of the conversation that we're hearing from especially the retailer community right now is that we're seeing DCKO. That's interesting. A lot of the conversation we're seeing around creator-owned books is that they're not really popping like these big stories are, and I think that is really we keep saying that this is a generation that needs to age into. They came to comic shops for Batman with a big axe. And they gotta like age into these creator-owned books, and I think maybe this is the first volley of that. That's a good point. Good call out.
Well, I always say that quality creates cash. And Beneath the Trees is one of the highest quality books on the market every time it's out. This issue in particular, everybody, is unbelievable. So definitely check it out.
Awesome. And you had a third one.
Yes. Now, my last call out is not a new book in 2026 at all, but I think it's worth talking about. So this is Batman Deadpool #1. This is DC's portion of the crossover. Everybody listening will know that, of course, Marvel and DC teamed up last year to do 2 major crossover issues. Now, the Marvel portion of that outsold the DC one by quite a bit from what I have read. And a lot has been made of varying reasons why that is. The Marvel one came first. The DC one had a varying price point. One of the things that I think DC themselves attributes it to is the fact that a lot of people thought there was no difference between the 2 books. And so because they already bought the first one, they thought that what was on shelves when they went to the store again was just different covers or whatever. To the point where DC had people like Jim Lee and Scott Snyder going on social media and informing the public that these, in fact, were separate books. And DC put out some new covers. So this issue actually was in the top 50 of sales. I believe it was number 43. So number 43 in sales was a book that came out 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That's a long tail.
That is a long tail. And once again, I just keep remembering the moment where Brian and I were sitting at Comics Pro when they were announcing the Marvel DC. What did I turn to Brian and say?
We are going to make so much money this year.
And again, our businesses are really really dependent on the comic shops doing well, and this was an obvious indicator that they're going to start doing well. So when we see these kinds of things,
I have
incredible.
a hot take on this, and I'm gonna go even a little further than your hot take.
Let's go.
That is the front cover of both books. Oh,
Hang on.
I'm not sharing it.
There it is.
Oh,
Okay.
there it is.
There you
Front
go.
cover of both books. If you're just a dude walking into a store, you tell me how you know that those are 2 different books.
I mean, the coloring is the same.
Right?
Right?
Like everything about that was the same. And when we actually got it, I honestly thought as a retailer, oh, this must be the second. Wait, no, this is the DC version. Like it literally, why is this in my Lunar order and not in my PRH order? That's what I thought.
Do you
So,
two
yeah,
are? I can only imagine what the politics of something like this is between these 2 major companies that are competitors. But Sean, what would you recommend if you're a marketing guy working for either one of these companies? What would you have done differently?
I don't think that this answer will work for them for a lot of the political behind the scenes reasons that we can all imagine. But I don't think I don't think that the wisest strategy was to make 2 iterations of stories with the same characters. I think one being Batman Deadpool is fine, but I think the very next one should have been, Superman Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do
100%.
Titans X-Men and then do Justice League Avengers, right? Like there's 1-for-1s that you can do for all these. I mean, honestly, Deadpool is not Marvel's #1, right? Like Marvel's #1 is Spider-Man. So you can do both of those things and still get big numbers. But yeah, I mean, they didn't do bad. Like this still with our numbers that we were looking at, solidly put DC ahead of Marvel in whatever month that was, November, when the DC version came out. So it did really well still. It just didn't do the Deadpool Batman numbers.
Also, if you're a retailer, it is smart. Split the 2 up, right?
Yeah.
And make people take a look at it. That's very smart, Randy. Awesome.
So even alphabetically, right? Deadpool and then Marvel. So,
could I throw out a question real fast?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Let's go.
So on my show, on the Comics Pals, we discussed sort of a bet amongst ourselves as to which publisher's iteration of Superman Spider-Man would sell better. DC is going first this time. They're getting their book out first. So I just want to quickly ask you both, which one do you think will sell better, DC's or Marvel's?
Ooh, boy, that's a good, interesting question. Is it? I apologize for even having to ask this. Is it different creative
Yeah.
teams?
Yes.
Completely different teams.
While DC has a lot of their heaviest hitters on the project, Greg Rucka is involved, many others. Marvel has gone out and hired the mercenaries behind Ghost Machine. They got Jeff Johns, they got Gary Frank involved, and Brad Meltzer.
Brad
who's writing the
Meltzer,
A
yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Then
Pepe Larraz is drawing the A story, and Gary Frank's drawing the B story with Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to give that one to Marvel, but I will say that you do call out that the DC book ended up with a long tail, right? So I'm going to say the winner of that is the retailers who are going to sell a shit ton of books is my real answer, because they're going to sell both. Like and then they maybe hopefully they've learned a lesson. If the publishers haven't learned that they need to distinguish between the two, the retailers are going to have learned that, Brian is not going to make that, mistake again when he opens the Lunar box, right?
Sure.
He's going to be ready for that. So, I think in the end, the winner of that is the fans and the retailers. But I think I'm probably going to give the edge to Marvel. I think that sounds like a killer lineup. So, yeah. Well, this was your first time, Sean. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the DC one is Mark Waid and I think it's Jorge Jimenez. So
damn it.
It's a pretty good. And then you've got Tom King, Matt Fraction, Sean Gordon Murphy, Gail Simone. Like it's also a murderer's row. So
that's a tight race, man. I don't know.
Everybody's putting out their best foot forward here.
That one's going to be a photo finish. We're gonna be dissecting that one for a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Sean, this was your first time looking at this list. What was your overall, how was your first impression? I know we dropped it on you with very little time to prepare, but what was do you have a big takeaway from this experience so far?
So first of all, I really, really appreciate, you guys sharing this list with me. I love stuff like this. I'm not a math nerd, but I am a nerd for sales figures and comics. I don't think that, I don't really like to make big judgments about an individual week of sales, but I do think my biggest takeaway just from this snapshot is that we're not in as clear-cut a DC is dominating Marvel situation as I think a lot of Marvel doomsayers want to project. I think that the numbers clearly show that people have an interest in what Marvel's doing right now. Ultimate Endgame still has people intrigued. You had multiple number ones from Marvel that were quality and sold very well. That's a good sign for a company that has several major things on the docket for the coming weeks and months that all look very impressive.
I'm going to use this as an opportunity to tease the fact that I recently interviewed the Comics Pals, and we dug deep, and you actually gave I will say a very succinct and very adept exploration of what Marvel needs to do in order to take that number one spot back. And I'm just going to leave that tease there. You should watch the upcoming episode of Comic Industry Insiders where we do a deep dive with the Comics Pals. Sean, thanks so much for doing this. I will tell the rest of you, if you subscribe to the Piranha Bullet, it is a weekly email newsletter that we send out. It goes to a really heavy hitter list of comics insiders, people in publishing, people in retail. We've been so lucky that people have subscribed to this. We do our best to give you a rundown of all of the major stories that you're going to be talking about that are going to affect your business or career in comics. And now this week, this is our second week doing it. We're going to be sending out the top 400 from actual comic shop sales. This is not pre-orders. This is not our fan confidence rating. We're still doing some of that. But this is what's actually selling in stores from the previous week. So make sure you go right now to piranhadm.com, sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be doing this every week until, people stop caring, I guess. I don't know. Maybe never. We may never stop doing this. I don't know. And Sean, awesome. thank you so much for being part of this show. This
Absolutely,
has been it's been a great show, and you've been an amazing part of it. So thanks for jumping on. Really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me anytime. Honestly, this has been fantastic. Thanks for everybody watching. You guys are great. And stay here because around here, people are trying to save comics.
There
It's a
you
beautiful
go.
goal. Beautiful goal.
Thanks, Sean.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Sean.
Take
Thank
care,
you,
man.
buddy. We appreciate you. Awesome, man. We still have a little bit of show left, and we're
Come
already at
on. Come
projection.
on, man.
I know you
This
have
is
a meeting.
crazy.
Well, listen,
I do. That's okay. Let's go.
let's get in. Finally, we do have our final cut. This is a regular feature on our show. Our direct market specialist, Keith Davidson, will bring you books that are coming up on FOC that are available if you're a fan to go and pre-order from your stores. And if you're a retailer, you're going to get the opportunity to buy this one. Place your final order. We have such a good one this week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not even going to tease it any more than that. I'm just going to let Blake hit the button and run the video.
Oh, welcome to the Final Cut, where we take a quick look at upcoming projects headed to final order cutoff. I'm your host, Keith Davidson, Prana's direct market specialist, and I'm joined this week by Christina Blanche, the author of the original graphic novel, The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood. Christina, welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you.
So let's lay the foundation for our audience. What's The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood about?
I taught in prison for about 10 years, and my friend and I got a lot of stories and experiences we had and decided we were going to put it into a book. So this is about prison. It's about a teacher who teaches in prison, kind of the same as Chris and I did, but he takes a different turn than we did. And so it's like, how far will it go before somebody realizes maybe I'm bad here, and how we justify our decisions.
So now it sounds like quite the harrowing tale. Where did the idea, like the actual fictional element, obviously you've given the real world element, but where did the fictional element for how it goes bad, where did that idea come from?
Teaching in prison, we were asked a lot to bring things in by our students. And I would always just laugh and go, let me see. So to make like however much on a pack of cigarettes that you would tell me how to sneak them in, I could possibly lose my job, my reputation. Who knows what, this would do to the family. Yeah, I was just like going on. I was like, for $20, I think I'm going to pass, but it became funny. So when the program ended, Chris and I got together, we decided we wanted to write about some of our experiences. And I had been wanting to do a comic book just to get the experience of writing it. I was talking about writing comics and things I was writing, but I realized I can read about heart surgery, but I'm still not going to trust myself to do it, and I won't know what that feels like. So I have to do it and have that experience to really understand comics, and then found out that I liked it.
Are there other comic titles in the marketplace, or perhaps TV shows and movies that you feel have a similar feel to The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood?
By no means am I saying this is as good as this, but it's very Breaking Bad. I refrained from watching Breaking Bad. I was teaching in prison. I didn't want to think about crack. I saw every day what it did to people and all that. Or meth, excuse me. Got those mixed up. So, but it has that Breaking Bad, feel.
Now, you are a comic shop retailer yourself, the owner of All Yeah Comics in Muncie, Indiana. I'd love to hear your perspective on ways retailers can get this book into the hands of the right customers.
Well, I always put a tag on it that says, this was Prison Mike's favorite book of the year. So I just tell people, that it's Breaking Bad. It's all the stories in it that are told by the prisoners are real. They're ones that we got that they told us, or they wrote about it in an essay, or we cleaned some of them up. But it's a really interesting look into that. It's a teacher that he's trying to save his sick son. He needs money. Teachers don't make money. How else can you do it?
Are there any last words that you'd like to share about The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood?
I'm really proud of it. I'm very proud of this book. I might return to it and have some more adventures. It was supposed to be a little bit longer, but we had to cut some things out to keep the artist the same. I wanted to make sure that you saw this beautiful Francesco Francavilla cover, and we have some great quotes on the back. Gail Simone, smart, scary, and utterly real. No one's first graphic novel should be this good. One of the best crime comics I've ever read. I was so excited about that. An amazing comic by an amazing writer, Tom King.
Well, Christina, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Cut.
Thank you so much, and thank you any comics retailers for even thinking about carrying this or carrying it the first time. We appreciate it.
And to those comic shops, one last reminder that The Damnation of Charlie Wormwood, published by SourcePoint Press, will be hitting stores in February. Retailers, look for it in the Prana Publisher section of your distributor catalog and on FOC this Monday. Take care.
Oh, my mic is muted. Am I mic?
Me
Am I
too.
muted?
Me too.
Oh, no, here we go. Okay, cool.
You're back. You're back. You're good.
Yeah, thank you, Christy, or Dr. Christy, excuse me. I knew Christy before we were calling her Dr. Christy. She's amazing. I will tell you, people are always talking to both of us about how we do so much. She just is like, she outpaces us by 10-1. I don't know where she finds the energy, frankly. But she does some amazing, amazing work, and I can't wait for people to get this back on the shelves. Dirk has done an amazing job of putting this book out, and now we're going to get into retailer shelves. So once again, available from Lunar, Universal, and you know, if you're a Diamond UK account, we're going to do our best to get that in there as well. So there you go. Awesome. Blake, why don't you come to the screen? Let's give away some stuff. Wanna?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's
Dude, this show's been exhausting. Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
it's been a whirlwind. I brought the wrong window. Sorry, chat.
Oh, dude. Sorry, chat.
Sorry, guys. All right. Let's share more screens. All right, here we go.
Second watch. I like that. I like it when people have to like go back in and take notes. All right. If you have not hashtag insiders, it's too late. Yeah, let's see who our big winner is for this week.
All right, we're gonna draw. Here we go.
I like that we're not seeing our own this week. That's good.
Yeah, it was smart. We all didn't enter it ourselves.
Bruno Tapia. Awesome, Bruno. Well, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Why don't you go ahead and send us your address? This time, why don't you send it to info@pranadm.com, and we'll make sure to get you one of the Comics the Magazine number zeros and a full set, including the very rare Steve Anderson trading card. We're going to get you guys a set, and we may, Megan, if you're watching this, let's throw in something else. Let's throw in something fun that we've also done in the last year. We do a lot of stuff, and we should be able to share those around. So,
here's a little something frilly.
That's right. That's right. And you, Bruno, when you get it, you're gonna have to let me know what it is you got, because I won't know until it lands. There you go.
Just a random thing.
Like a Wham Labs, and don't talk about Wham Labs yet. That's coming soon. We're not talking about Wham Labs yet.
Oh no.
Awesome. Blake, thanks for doing all the work, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Too many announcements.
Yeah,
There's lots of announcements happening.
Right?
Oh,
what a huge show was this, though, eh? Like, I thought that this was going to be a big show, but I didn't think it would be this big. This is a newsmaker show. We got to see artwork from a book that hasn't been solicited, guys.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen every day. You know,
insane.
Insane.
A-list
title. So yeah.
And next week, Kevin Smith. No, I'm just.
Hey, Kevin.
Now,
if you're listening,
yeah.
We would love to have you on the show. We'd love to, our show. If you watch the chat, you can see how many retailers that are watching us. We are definitely.
Don't know that I'll be able to speak if we do, but I'll give it a shot.
That's right, Megan. He has his own. He is a retailer.
Dan Silent Bob's Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey.
That's right.
He's also a huge fan of Golden Apple Comics in LA.
right.
He's yeah.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you, boys, and thank all of you. You know what? I've been thinking about this, and it's really true
Wait,
that if
stop
Oh,
before you
come
do
on.
that. Before you
Come
do
on.
that,
all right.
we got to tease one last little thing.
Oh,
we
damn
didn't
it,
One
finish.
didn't
last
We
do
didn't
little
that,
finish
thing.
did
the
we?
deck. We didn't finish
Yeah,
the
we
deck.
didn't finish the deck, and we just need to tease this.
Yeah, we didn't do our CTAs,
So
right?
next week on this show, and we will have up the link so that you can go and pre-join that show very, very soon. Next week's show is all about Comics the Magazine, and I am going to host it. I'm going to be the Adam next week and just handle the whole thing. Adam's going to sit there and be one of our guests, and we're going to talk about Comics the Magazine. I'm going to steal stuff that nobody else has seen and just unleash it. I'm not going to take no for an answer. We are going to preview things you've never seen, and you are going to desperately want to sign up for Comics the Magazine if you're a fan, and if you're a retailer, you're going to say, just take my money. You're going to be throwing money at the screen. It doesn't work that way, but you will be doing it. So come here next week, see the Comics the Magazine episode, and find out why this is the launch of 2026.
I don't know why I get paid for sales and marketing. I don't know why I need you to do that, but I do. Thank you. While you're
if
at
you want
it,
to
you
join
should go to
us next Thursday.
managecomics.com,
There you go.
register for the webinars, learn how managecomics.com is going to make your comic shop that much better. If you're a fan and you want your comic shop to actually, I don't know, make sure that they get the books that you want to pre-order, they should probably be using managecomics.com. So scan the QR code, have your retailer get signed up, go through the webinars. I will tell you, Brian, if he wants to talk about the stuff we're doing, I'm going to talk about him. You can go to managecomics.com and just as a retailer, just take in the content. It's going to make you a stronger store, even if you don't sign up for it. He's done an incredible job of putting together assets, putting together a knowledge base that is just second to none. I will say, wholeheartedly, if I was a retailer, if Managed Comics has been around when I was a retailer, I would probably still be a retailer. It's that much. It's that strong.
There you go.
There you go. Awesome.
And speaking of second to none, everybody do this QR code, go to Zoop, check out Negative Burn right now. I'm not even going to talk about the creators. I want you to hit this QR code. I want you to look at the deep list of phenomenal comic book history involved in this project. And I dare you, I double dog dare you, I triple hot dog dare you to look at that list and not support this project.
Oh, well,
guys, settle down. We're going to burst an artery here.
Double dog
My
dare.
goodness.
It's bringing that buzz energy. That's a boy
right.
who had 2 dogs before getting on. That's what was going on there.
Double fisting dogs.
Whoa.
Double dog.
I mean, you're not wrong, but whoa.
That's right. Someday, Brian. Someday.
Oh, maybe if I'm lucky.
I think it's why not? Why stop there? I think publication, comic book serialized publication of the year, Comics and Magazine. Can we get a Webby? Can we get a Comics Industry Insiders Live Webby? That'd be pretty sick.
Listen,
there is an Eisner, isn't there now for podcasts?
I think there is.
There's both an Eisner and a Ringo, and number 0 qualifies for both. And if you're on it, maybe we haven't yet got that pitch going, but we're gonna. If you, we would love your support when it comes time for awards. All right, can I do the thing now? Are you boys?
Do the thing.
Blake, am I good?
You're good.
All right. I want to thank the guests that came on this show this week, and there were a lot of them. I want to thank Fred and Adriano. I cannot believe I'm going to try and do this from memory. Sean and Nick Patera. I'm going to thank, Chris Powell and Steve Anderson, and then Sean again. My buddy Brian, our absolute superstar Blake. absolutely, I want to thank all of you, but mostly if you bought comics this week, if you were part of that list, that top 400, because you went to your comic shop and you bought comics and you emptied out your pull box, thank you. If you're a retailer, if you were Randy or any of the other retailers that I'm looking in the chat, and I really wish I could remember them right off the top of my head. Brian, oh my God, one of the smartest guys in the room. If you are a retailer and you swept that floor for the 10,000th time this week and you hand sold a book that you're passionate about, thank you. If you're a content creator and you're making comics that are getting people, or not making comics, you're getting people excited about the comics that we all make, thank you. If you're a distributor, a publisher, if you're Nick Patera, thank you. Because you know what you guys did this week? You saved comics. And we thank you for that. All right. Namaste.